Sharpie.
Doug Ford and Bob Canoe pledging to pull down trade barriers between their provinces. The premiers are the latest to sign memorandums of understanding and promise to ease the flow of goods, services, and workers across Canada in the face of threats from south of the border.
Like President Trump's tariffs, they divide us and hold back our economy. We can no longer afford to let this happen. With President Trump's tariffs taking direct aim at Canada, we need to do everything in our power to unleash our economy.
The agreement aims to simplify worker credentialing, mutually recognize safety standards, and streamline direct-to-consumer alcohol sales between the provinces. In 2021, Ontario and Manitoba did about $19.5 billion in trade. Canoe says the agreement is about trust.
When we're talking about health and safety, we're talking about making sure that people have the qualifications to get the job done right. There's that element of trust there too. We trust that somebody who gets a red seal in Ontario, somebody who gets a professional designation in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick, we trust that they're going to be able to do a great job if they come to Manitoba.
This is the third interprovincial trade deal signed by Ontario in recent weeks. The province reached similar agreements with Nova Scotia and New Brunswick in April. Prime Minister Mark Carney says he'd like to have the trade barriers pulled down across the country by Canada Day. This Ontario opposition leader says he's happy the agreement has been signed, but he'd like to see the premiers working on another large-scale project.
But I was deeply disappointed when the Premier had an opportunity to talk about a nation-building project that many people have been advocating for years, and that is a east-west clean energy corridor, specifically between Ontario and Manitoba.
This economist says the agreement between Ontario and Manitoba sounds good in theory, but won't deliver the new trade many politicians suggest.
Interprovincial trade for politicians is the gift that keeps on giving. There really are very, very few barriers to begin with, but the perception that these barriers are massive and that there's hundreds of millions of dollars to gain have led to all of this political theater, both federally and provincially, with kind of a flurry of announcements.
The announcement comes as Ford's government is set to unveil its annual budget. The Premier's already announced a number of measures that will be in that spending plan aimed at fighting Trump's tariffs. Billions in spending, which appear set to drive the province's books into deficit. Shawn, Jeffords, CBC News, Toronto.